You see, in life there are moments where we look back and feel like we've lost so much. Time seems wasted, opportunities missed, mistakes made. We feel we've gone so far in the wrong direction that there's no way back. But let me tell you something powerful today. The mercy of Allah is beyond our imagination. The doors of His kindness are always open. No matter how far we've gone, no matter how many years we think we've wasted, when Allah decides to restore, He restores in ways that will leave us amazed. So when you feel like you've wasted years in wrong choices, bad company, sin, laziness, or simply going in circles, do not lose hope. Allah is capable of giving you back much more than what you think you've lost. When Allah removes the weight from your heart, it is one of the greatest signs that He is preparing you for something special. Sometimes we carry sadness, guilt, regret, and pain for years. It sits in our hearts like a heavy rock, pressing us down, stopping us from breathing fully. We wake up with it, we sleep with it, and it follows us wherever we go. We begin to think that this weight is part of who we are. But the truth is, Allah knows the burden you carry. He knows every tear that fell when no one else saw you. He knows the silent cries, the moments you almost gave up, the nights when you couldn't even put your pain into words. And when He decides that you've carried it long enough, He removes that weight from your heart in such a way that you yourself are surprised. There comes a day when you look at the same situation that once crushed you and suddenly you feel light. You remember the people who hurt you and the anger is gone. You recall the years you wasted and instead of regret, you feel hope. This is not because you managed to solve everything yourself. It is because Allah is so merciful that He removes pain even when the situation has not yet changed. He lifts the burden before the road is clear. And this is His way of telling you, I am giving you a new beginning. I am restoring your soul. I am preparing you for better days. This is the moment when the heart begins to breathe again after years of suffocation. This is when you realize that Allah's kindness is not only in changing your external life, but in healing your internal world first. Sometimes you spend years begging for an opportunity, praying for something to work out, asking Allah to fix a situation, but you forget to ask Him to fix your heart. You forget to ask Him to remove the sadness that settled inside you. You think that when the problem goes away, the sadness will go away too. But often Allah shows you that the sadness leaves first, even while the problem still exists. This is a gift. This is Allah's way of training you to rely on Him, to trust that happiness does not only come from outside success, but from internal peace. And when Allah places that peace inside you, it is a signal that He is about to turn your life around. It is not the end, it is the preparation for what is coming next. There are people who have been trapped in cycles of guilt for so long that they don't know who they are. Without that guilt, they think their mistakes have defined them permanently. They believe that they are not worthy of joy anymore. But Allah in His infinite mercy shows us that He can erase the pain attached to the past. He can free your heart even if you are still surrounded by the same people, the same memories and the same reminders of your failures. When Allah removes the weight, you begin to look at your past differently. You begin to see that your failures were lessons, your heartbreaks were redirections, your delays were protection, and your lost years were not wasted after all. The beautiful thing about this process is that when Allah removes the heaviness from your heart, you don't always notice the moment it happens. You only realize later when you no longer feel tired from carrying it. Suddenly the things that used to consume your mind no longer hold the same power. The thoughts that once kept you awake at night now pass through your mind without pain. The bitterness begins to taste sweet, not because you forgot, but because Allah replaced it with acceptance. And when He does that, your life begins to move forward in ways you never imagined. You find yourself doing things you used to delay. You find yourself standing in prayer with energy that was once missing. You find yourself smiling again genuinely without forcing it. This is how Allah restores you. He fixes the inside first so that you can walk into a better outside. When Allah removes the weight from your heart, you start to make sense of the journey you went through. You begin to understand why certain people had to leave, why certain doors had to close, why certain prayers were delayed, and why certain seasons of your life felt empty. You realize that if those things had worked out, you would have been trapped in places that were not meant for you. You would have stayed small when Allah wanted you to grow. You would have settled for less when Allah was preparing something better. So sometimes the pain we carry is because we are holding on to things Allah tried to remove from our lives. And when we finally let go, He lifts the weight. He replaces it with clarity. He replaces it with peace. There are people who feel that the pain they are carrying will never go away. They wake up every day expecting to feel the same sadness they felt yesterday. But Allah can change that in a moment. You could wake up tomorrow with a heart that feels lighter. You could wake up tomorrow with a soul that is finally at ease. Allah can bring that change when you least expect it. That is why you should never think that you are stuck forever. You are not stuck, you are being prepared. Allah removes the weight when you are ready to walk again, when you are ready to see the path that was hidden behind your sadness. When Allah removes the weight, you also start to realize the value of the small things. A simple sunrise feels beautiful again. A kind word touches your heart in a way you didn't feel before. You start to appreciate the blessings you overlooked when your heart was heavy. You start to see the wisdom in prayers you once thought were unanswered. Sometimes Allah delays what you asked for because He knows that if He gives it to you while your heart is still burdened, you won't enjoy it. You won't even recognize the blessing. So He frees your heart first so that when the blessing arrives, you are ready to receive it with gratitude, not with exhaustion. And sometimes Allah removes people from your life as part of this process. There are people who once held a big space in your life, but when Allah begins to restore you, they slowly fade away. It can feel painful at first, it can feel like a loss. But what you don't see in that moment is that their presence was part of the weight you were carrying. Their absence is actually the beginning of your healing. When people leave you, especially after hurting you or betraying you, it is often Allah's way of protecting you. He is clearing your space so that you can move forward without their shadows following you. Not everyone is meant to stay. Not everyone is meant to continue with you. Some people were only meant to teach you something, and once the lesson is complete, Allah removes them so you can grow beyond them. There are times in life when you feel so broken by what others have done to you that you don't see a way forward. You feel trapped in the memories, replaying every word, every mistake, every betrayal. But when Allah wants to restore you, He gives you the strength to stop replaying the story. He helps you close the chapter. He does not always remove the memory, but He removes its power over you. You remember, but it no longer controls you. You think about it, but it no longer hurts. This is part of the restoration. This is part of the healing. This is part of the mercy of Allah. Sometimes people ask, why does it take so long for Allah to remove the pain? Why does He allow us to carry this weight for years? The truth is, there are lessons inside the pain. There are things you can only learn when you are broken. There are doors that only open after you've been in the dark for a while. The heaviness you carried taught you patience, taught you gratitude, taught you who you can trust and taught you who you cannot. The weight was shaping you. It was preparing you for the person you were always meant to become. And when the preparation is complete, Allah removes the weight because you are ready to carry something greater. Sometimes Allah removes people from your life in ways you never expected. You might experience distance, arguments, misunderstandings, or even betrayal. At the time it feels painful. It feels like a punishment. But later when you look back, you realize that their exit was actually your protection. Allah knew things you did not know. He saw the harm you could not see. He removed them because He was preparing you for the people who would bring goodness into your life. When Allah wants to bless you, He sometimes begins by clearing your surroundings. He makes room for better company. He makes space for sincere people who will walk with you, guide you and remind you of what really matters. When people walk away from you, it is not always a loss. Sometimes it is a great blessing. Allah removes those who would have delayed your growth, those who would have distracted you from your purpose, those who were taking more from you than they were giving. And when He removes them, it might feel lonely at first, but soon you realize that you can breathe again, you can think clearly, you can find yourself again. There are people whose presence was filling your heart with noise. When they leave, you begin to hear your own thoughts. You begin to hear the quiet whispers of your soul calling you back to Allah. This is when real growth begins. When the wrong people leave your life, Allah often replaces them with those who bring light. He sends you people who encourage you to grow, people who remind you to pray, people who inspire you to become a better person. Their company feels peaceful, their words feel sincere, their advice feels like medicine. These are the people Allah places in your life to help you move forward. When you meet them, you realize what you were missing all along. You realize how much you settled for in the past. You realize that true companionship is not about how long someone stays in your life, but about whether they bring you closer to Allah or further away. When you lose someone who was not good for you, it is a sign that Allah wants you to rebuild your life on a stronger foundation. Sometimes the wrong people keep you trapped in habits you are trying to escape. Their influence holds you back. Their words discourage you from changing. Their presence keeps you tied to your past. But when Allah removes them, it is an opportunity for you to step into a new version of yourself. It is a chance to break free from old patterns. It is a moment to redefine your life in a way that aligns with your purpose. You might wonder why Allah allowed those people to enter your life in the first place if they were not good for you. But every person is part of your story. Some people are lessons, some are blessings, some are both. The ones who hurt you taught you what you should not tolerate. The ones who misled you taught you what you should avoid. The ones who loved you sincerely taught you what is worth keeping. Every person played a role in shaping who you are today. And when their role is complete, Allah moves them out of your life just as He brought them into it. When people leave you, it is important not to chase what Allah has removed. Sometimes you fight to hold on to friendships, relationships or connections that are already gone. You try to fix what Allah has broken, but what you don't see is that the removal was part of your healing. The space created by their absence is the space where Allah will plant something new. Do not fear the emptiness they leave behind. It is not emptiness, it is room for growth. It is room for new blessings. It is room for the next chapter of your life. When Allah removes people, He also removes the influence they had over you. You begin to think differently. You begin to see things more clearly. You no longer feel the need to please them, to seek their approval, to carry their expectations. You begin to live for what matters. You begin to focus on what brings peace to your heart. You begin to walk on the path that was always meant for you. And when this happens, you realize that what felt like a painful ending was actually the beginning of your restoration. There will come a time when a person will suddenly feel a deep desire to change. This desire will not come from outside. It will not be pushed by anyone. It will rise from within the heart like a spark that will refuse to die out. A person will begin to feel restless in places where they once felt comfortable. The same gatherings, the same habits, the same conversations will no longer give them peace. They will wake up one day and realize that what they used to enjoy has now become tasteless. This change will not be by accident. This will be a divine signal. It will be Allah's way of calling someone back. When this feeling will come, it will mean Allah will be preparing to restore the years that were wasted. Allah will not place this desire in the heart without a reason. It will be a gentle push to start moving in the right direction. A person will begin to notice that their soul will no longer tolerate what it used to accept. The movies, the music, the endless hours wasted, they will all feel heavy now. The friends who once seemed like family will begin to drift. The gatherings that once brought laughter will now bring emptiness. This is because Allah will be slowly removing the attractions that led to delay. He will be shifting the heart towards something pure. And when this shift will begin, ignoring it will only bring more discomfort. The person will start to feel a pull towards prayer. They will start to crave the words of the Quran. They will begin to feel that the peace they searched for everywhere else was always waiting for them in sincere worship. When this happens, it will not be a coincidence. It will be Allah's way of making space for a new life to grow. This desire to change will not always come loudly. Sometimes it will come in small, quiet moments. A tear that will fall unexpectedly. A verse that will suddenly feel personal. A moment of reflection that will hit the heart in a way nothing else will. These are signs that Allah will be working on the inside even if no one else will see it yet. The heart will begin to reject sin, not because someone will be forcing it, but because the soul will finally begin to remember its true home. This desire to return will become stronger than the pull of the world. The person will realize that they are tired of living in circles. They will realize that the happiness they chased in temporary things never lasted, and they will know that it is time to come back to what really matters. This is how Allah will begin the restoration. He will not always start by changing the outside world. He will start by changing the inside of the person. The heart will feel it first. The soul will recognize it first. And when that desire to change becomes too strong to ignore, life will begin to follow. A person will begin to see their daily habits shifting. They will begin to leave behind what harmed them. They will begin to seek what benefits them. And Allah will make the journey easier step by step. He will bring the right people at the right time. He will open the right doors at the right time. This desire for change will be a proof that Allah has not forgotten the person. It will be a proof that Allah is planning something beautiful ahead. But it will require courage. It will not always be easy to walk away from the comfort of old habits. The people who once felt close might not understand the change. They might question it. They might pull the person back. But when the heart will be filled with the desire to change, it will overpower all the noise. It will lead a person to make difficult decisions. It will lead them to walk away from gatherings that waste their time. It will lead them to choose quiet nights of prayer over loud nights of distraction. And as they take each step, Allah will strengthen them. Allah will replace the old attachments with new ones that will nourish the soul. There will be moments of weakness along the way. The pull of the past will try to come back. The old temptations will whisper again. But the heart that will sincerely desire change will not settle for going backwards. It will remember the heaviness of the wasted years. It will remember the emptiness that came from chasing the wrong things. And that memory will push the person forward. Allah will never place a desire for change in a heart and then leave that heart alone. He will continue to guide it, protect it, and bring it closer. Even when the journey will feel slow, Allah's support will never leave. When a person's desire to change becomes firm, they will start to see the world differently. What used to seem attractive will now look meaningless. What used to look distant will now feel close. The prayer they once delayed will become the moment they wait for. The Quran they once ignored will become the words they miss. This shift will happen slowly for some and quickly for others, but it will happen. And this will be the first sign that Allah is restoring the years that were wasted. He will not allow the person to stay trapped in the past. He will guide them towards a future filled with light. Sometimes the first step towards change will feel difficult because it will require walking away from people. The friendships that once seemed important will no longer match the new direction. The people who encouraged wasting time, ignoring prayer, chasing what displeases Allah, these people will slowly fade away, and this will be painful. It will feel like loss. But it will actually be a sign of growth. Allah will never remove people from someone's life without bringing better ones. The person will start to notice that their gatherings will begin to change. They will find themselves drawn to those who remember Allah, those who speak with purpose, those who encourage good. When Allah closes certain doors, it will not be rejection, it will be protection. The opportunities that once seemed perfect but slipped away were never meant to stay. The plans that failed were never written for the person. Sometimes a job will not work out. Sometimes a friendship will collapse. Sometimes a door will remain closed no matter how hard someone knocks. And this will feel disappointing at first, but later it will become clear that Allah was saving the person from something they could not see. When Allah closes a door, He will open one that will bring real peace. And when that door opens, it will be easier to enter because the person will have already left behind what was holding them back. It will become clear that the things that did not happen were a blessing. The marriage that did not work out, the job that was missed, the trip that was cancelled, all these things were part of Allah's plan to lead the person somewhere better. The person will start to see that Allah was always guiding them, even when it felt like everything was falling apart. The years that seemed wasted were actually part of the preparation. The failures were teaching patience. The delays were building strength. The heartbreaks were creating space for what is better. When the right doors begin to open, they will open effortlessly. The person will not need to force them. They will not need to compromise their faith to enter them. These doors will lead to goodness, to growth, to peace. Allah will make the path smooth, and the person will realize that all the struggle, all the waiting, all the letting go was worth it. What will come will be better than what was lost. Allah will never take something away without giving something better in return. But the better things will only arrive after the person has walked away from what was harmful. It will not be easy to leave behind old habits and familiar places. The memories will try to pull the person back. The whispers will try to slow the person down. But every step away from what displeases Allah will bring the person closer to peace. The journey will not be perfect. There will be days of weakness. There will be moments of doubt. But as long as the person keeps moving forward, Allah's help will remain close. There will come a time when the person will look back and realize that the closed doors were the best things that ever happened. They will thank Allah for the rejections, for the endings, for the disappointments, because those moments were actually the turning points. Those moments were what saved them from staying trapped in places that were never meant for them. When the right doors open, the person will walk through them with gratitude, knowing that Allah has planned everything perfectly. The new opportunities will come at the right time. The right people will enter the person's life when the heart is ready. The changes will not feel forced. They will feel natural. Allah will place barakah in the person's time, in their work, in their worship. What once felt difficult will now become easy. What once felt impossible will now become achievable. And the person will see that when they trusted Allah's timing, everything worked out better than they could have planned. The desire to change and the opening of the right doors will be connected. When the heart is sincere, Allah will guide the person to the right places. He will place the right people along the path. He will make the journey smoother. And when the person walks away from what harms them, Allah will replace it with what benefits them. The doors that Allah opens will not require the person to sacrifice their peace or their faith. These doors will lead to growth, to goodness, to a life that feels right. The person will begin to experience the sweetness of relying on Allah. They will see that even when they lose something, Allah's replacements are always better. They will learn that patience brings reward. They will understand that the closed doors were not the end. They were simply redirections. Allah will never leave a person stranded when they sincerely turn to Him. The desire to change and the movement towards better doors will always be part of the same journey. When the right doors open, the person will feel peace. They will no longer feel the restlessness that came with the wrong choices. They will find stability in their new friendships, in their new opportunities, in their new routines. And through all of this, they will realize that Allah's plan was always filled with wisdom. The delays, the rejections, the closed doors, they were all steps towards something better. The person will begin to value the waiting period. They will understand that the time spent waiting was not wasted. It was part of the preparation for the blessings that were always meant to come. There will come a time when a person will suddenly feel a deep desire to change, and this desire will not come from outside. It will rise from within the heart like a spark that will refuse to die. The same gatherings, the same habits, the same conversations will no longer bring peace. The heart will begin to feel restless in places that once felt comfortable. This change will not be accidental. It will be Allah's silent invitation. It will be a sign that Allah will begin restoring the wasted years. This feeling will be a divine push, not just a passing thought. It will be the start of a new journey. Allah will not place this desire inside the heart without a reason. The person will begin to notice that what they used to enjoy will now become tasteless. The distractions that once filled the day will now feel empty. The friends who once seemed close will start to drift. The gatherings that once brought laughter will now bring unease. This shift will come because Allah will slowly begin removing the attractions that caused delay. The heart will no longer tolerate what it used to accept. When this happens, Allah will be preparing the person for a life of purpose. The soul will no longer feel comfortable in wasted hours. The desire for prayer will return. The longing for Quran will grow. And Allah will make the heart pull towards sincere worship. The desire to change will not always arrive with a loud announcement. Sometimes it will come in small, quiet moments. A single tear will fall unexpectedly. A verse will suddenly touch the heart like never before. A moment of silence will begin to feel full. These are signs that Allah will be working on the inside before changing the outside. The heart will begin to recognize its true home. The soul will start to remember what was always missing. The pull towards goodness will begin to outweigh the pull towards distraction. The person will realize that they are tired of living in circles, chasing happiness in the wrong places. They will understand that it is time to return. When Allah places this desire in the heart, He will begin the restoration. He will not always start by changing the circumstances. He will start by changing the heart. And when the heart changes, life will begin to change. The person will begin to let go of harmful habits. They will begin to choose better. They will begin to walk towards what is good. And Allah will open doors in the right moments. He will bring the right people at the right time. This desire for change will not be random. It will be a clear message from Allah that the past will no longer define the future. The person will find that walking away from the old habits will require courage. Friends may not understand. Some will question the change. Some will try to pull the person back to their old ways. But the heart that sincerely desires to change will begin to find new strength. It will lead the person to make difficult decisions. It will push them to walk away from what wastes their time. It will make them choose quiet nights of prayer over loud nights of distraction. And Allah will give strength with every step. He will replace old attachments with new connections that nourish the soul. The person will come to love the patience that will once feel heavy. They will see that Allah will always plan to restore what they once thought would be gone. The years of waiting, of struggling, of praying will soon become the most precious part of their story. They will live with peace, knowing that Allah's timing, Allah's barakah and Allah's wisdom will always be greater than anything they will ever plan. Never underestimate the mercy of Allah. The years you thought were wasted were never really wasted. They were preparing you for the best days that are still to come. Trust Allah's plan, trust His timing. When He restores completely.